shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and moved me, honey. I changed my mind, this love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, feels good. Hold me, baby. Well, I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Feels good. Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Come over, baby, whole lot of shaking going on. Yes, I said come over, baby, baby, you can't go wrong. We ain't faking, whole lot of shaking going on. Well, I said come on over, baby, we got shaking in the barn. Ooh, huh. Come on over, baby, really got to move by the horn. We ain't faking, whole lot of shaking going on. Well, I said shake, baby, shake. 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 Come on over, whole lot of shaking going on. Oh, let's go. That's right. Welcome to the Beau Show, the home of faith, family, and freedom. Today's show is unique because I'm profiling a musical legend who just passed away. Rock and roll singer Jerry Lee Lewis died at the age of 87 last week. Wherever there's a piano, somewhere, someone is singing. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Those lyrics and those unmistakable four notes that walk up just embody the sense of Jerry Lee. But as Jerry Lee famously reminded people, but it won't be like the killer, because ain't but one of me. As if we needed reminding that he's the one and only who can do justice to that song. Lewis is perhaps the last great originator of rock and roll, which means that in his passing, it's the end of an era. As with any legend, everyone else is merely an imposter. But henceforth, everyone will now only be able to hear of Jerry Lee rather than hear from him. Future musicians will only be able to watch videos of him and study him. I think about the fact that being from Memphis, Tennessee, I never got to see Elvis live because he died before I was born. So it's kind of like you're always in the shadow of this presence that you never knew. But it's the music that lives on. Jerry Lee blended blues, gospel, country, and honky-tonk to make his own signature rock and roll sound. It had a pounding energy to it, a pulsation, so much so that it even threatened a young Elvis Presley so much that it made him cry. Jerry Lee was there at the cusp and birth of rock and roll with Elvis, Johnny Cash, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Carl Perkins, Fats Domino, and Buddy Holly. Now, one by one, those stars have passed on, leaving Jerry Lee Lewis as the last torchbearer of this musical dynasty. Referencing him being the last man standing, he famously said before he died, "Who would have thought it would be me?" The irony of this is that Jerry Lee abused his body over decades, and doctors told him that the illnesses and injuries he endured over the years should have taken him a long time ago. Just before his death, his wife Judith said, "He is ready to leave." Lewis played music across 7 decades. Most musicians would love to be able to do it for just one. He defied death in many ways, as his obituary was written, rewritten, and shelved as the killer kept on playing. Once a biographer asked, "Is it true that," and Lewis cut him off and said, "Yeah, it probably was," without even hearing the particulars. Lewis had thousands of outrageous stories, and most of them probably were true. I will try my best to recant some of those to you. His father Elmo and his mother Mamie mortgaged their house to buy him a piano. As you might guess, pianos are very expensive. And without ever having laid a finger on a piano in his life, he began to play. His nickname, the Killer, had nothing to do with his playing style, which is reckless and percussive, but rather a school fight in which he tried to choke a grown man with his necktie. Sometimes he kept a pistol in his pants. So Killer is a fitting nickname for him in many different ways. And I want to touch on the fact that his parents bought him a piano. I remember that I was maybe 2 or 3 years old. My mom and dad bought me a toy piano for Christmas, and I took to it like a duck takes to water. I liked it so much that I dragged it around everywhere in the house, including the bathroom, so that I could multitask. I have great respect for parents who are willing to make sacrifices so that their kids have a chance, especially in the arts, which honestly is a profession most would shy away from. It's a brutal path. And yes, there is great reward in it, but not without tremendous pain and rejection. There are millions of talented people who don't have the courage, the means, or the tenacity to pursue a music career. Musicians and journalists alike have called Jerry Lee a virtuoso, swearing that there were 2 pianos on stage rather than 1. I can attest to that. In my opening Jerry Lee Lewis medley, I recorded 2 piano tracks because there's so much going on those songs that to focus on all the percussive things that he's doing with both hands, you almost need 4 hands to accomplish it. In fact, I'll be honest, I was worn out by the time that I finished. He could play melody with both hands and combine genres effortlessly. The genre of what came to be known as rockabilly is what Lewis was inventing. A little bit of country, a little bit of rock, and a little bit blues. Rolling Stone ranked him as the 24th greatest artist of all time. But I don't see how you could even create a logical list when you think of artists across various spans of time and genres. Sam Phillips, who launched the careers of Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis at Sun Studios, called Lewis the most talented person he'd ever seen. He was inducted into both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Country Music Hall of Fame, a rare honor to be in both. But that's a testament to his command of both genres. In 1959, Lewis was racking up chart hits, and Elvis received his draft notice. Memorably, the titular king of rock and roll tearfully told Jerry Lee, "You can have it."